We're here at Heroes Camp in Mishawaka, Indiana. We're gonna go check out their studio. Let's go. Hey Patrick, good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I actually haven't been here since the studio's been finished.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
All right, and but first, I kind of want to know more about what the artwork is on the outside of the studio here.
Oh, this is one of my favorite parts of the studio, is just actually to be able to see, like when your kid draws something, it goes right up on the refrigerator.
Right.
And so all the albums that we do, we use the original artwork from children as a design element, and so they get uploaded. And so now they become famous. They can find themselves online on Spotify, iTunes, whatever they listen to music, and they can see, oh, that's my artwork. And so when they come in here and they see their artwork on the wall, it just makes them feel proud about themselves.
No, I love it. So when I was first here, this was just a room. Like it was just a room, had a window in it, had a few logos up on the walls, but let's see it for real now.
I forgot that it had that big window.
All right. All right, so we're here with Patrick and Kelly from Heroes Camp. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And wanted to talk a little bit about just kind of your heart for this project, like designing a studio inside of this space. You already have amazing amenities, and basketball and barbershop, and you know, a commercial kitchen and all of that thing. What led you to want to make a studio for the kids?
This goes hand in hand with what we do on the basketball court. Everything on the basketball court was started with excellence. We've had players play NBA, overseas, like we've had top level competitors come into this place, and original founder of Heroes Camp, excellent basketball player. And so the skill level is out of this world. And to have now a music studio that matches that kind of excellence, it's powerful, because now we're used basketball as a way to minister to kids, to father kids, to bring them deeper into Christ, have relationships with them. We can now have that same thing going on in the studio. And for us, it's all about the relationship aspect, getting to have kids close enough to us so that they can see what a father looks like. They can see what love looks like. They can smell you. They can see your frustrations. They can see your joys and your victories. It's all about bringing someone close enough into your life so that they can experience what it actually is to have a father in there. And so when they're in here in the studio and we're sitting close to each other, we're mixing and we're talking about music, we're talking about the things of the Lord too, and they're getting to see the integrity across the board. And so then when we leave this place and we have lunch outside of here, or we see each other on the streets, or if I go to a basketball game where they're at, they can see the consistency of love. And so really the studio is just an extension of what we've already been doing, and it's going to make us all the more impactful as we can reach just more kids that might not have an interest in the basketball arena.
It looks just like the renderings.
This looks better than the renderings. I mean, you do good work yourself, but I mean, like, to see this just live instead of on paper is like, wow. I mean, to the T, I mean, it looks like the renderings, but and when it comes to life, it's amazing.
Yeah, all the trades really made it happen to make the dream come true, man. It's there's so much that went into this. I mean, we had to isolate it from the rest of the space, and so like this is a room within a room construction where we have separate walls and you know, doing all sorts of isolation so that what's happening out there is not disturbing what's going on here, and vice versa.
We have a basketball gym with basketballs bouncing a lot of times. I mean, 100 kids in here. So when you come in here, you don't even know that there's 100 kids out there. As soon as you close those doors, I mean, you can hear your heartbeat.
Yeah, it's awesome. I just kind of want to point out a few of the elements just acoustically, like what we did in here. All of this is like a stretch fabric system. So there's like a channel that goes onto the wall, and then all the acoustical treatment's hidden behind this fabric. But one of the cool details was this LED stripping that we did around the room. And so there's these two lines that cross in the center right where the screen is. And I know that the kids just love probably playing with the lights and just changing the colors and everything.
I can't get any work done. The lights are always changing.
Just the lights are
Yeah.
always changing. You know, some of the designs that we typically do, we have soffit base trapping around the perimeter that also has these recessed lights into it, so give you some nice work lights. But you can also turn those off if you want and have just the LEDs glowing. But that's a really nice element. And then in the back of the room, one of the things we wanted was the logo of Heroes Camp to be noticeable, you know, from anywhere in the room. And so similar to the studio we did for David Crowder, where we had artwork covered with a clear diffuser, I wanted to do that similar thing here. It just turned out great, like with the logo there, with the diffusers in front,
It's beautiful.
some of the LED stripping that went underneath it. Yeah, it's just really nice. Did you think that when we started this project that this is what it would turn out to be?
I had no clue. I was originally went down to Sweetwater to buy a pair of speakers to add to our makeshift studio that we had, a computer and 2 monitors. And when I got down there, the sales rep was like, hey, I got a friend that might be interested in helping you out. He has a heart for the things that you guys are doing. And the next thing you know, he connects me with you, Gavin Haverstick, and was just like, hey, I want to do a blueprint rendering for the work that you guys are doing. Please let me allow you to do this. And so you created a E.C.H.O initiative from your corporation that you run to give back to the community. And yeah, I just found out we were the first recipients of that, which is super cool. And it's also super fitting because when you give to the Lord, you're supposed to give your first fruits. And so I believe like you're personally going to be blessed beyond measure because you gave your first fruit to Heroes Camp. But so yeah, we went down to Sweetwater to find some speakers and we ended up with this. So not exactly quite the same spectrum of what we were looking for, but God wanted to blow us away on this one. It says He's going to do exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask or think. I could only think or ask for a pair of $1,000 speakers. God was like, here's a brand new professional grade studio that anybody in the industry would be proud to come in here and work on.
In our designs, we usually like to put something kind of personalized for every client, and obviously the logo is part of that, but then these ceiling clouds that we have here, we design them in a way so that the negative space in between the clouds is the cross from your logo, so that like when kids are in here, they can look up and see that. And that's like my favorite part of the design is that piece right there.
I love that piece.
Yeah.
It's cool. That can also be isolated with the lights and accent that, but it's true to who we are. It's Christ, and everything has to be done with him in mind, with Him at the heart. And so it just keeps speaking. Like that's why we have our logo. We have the Father and Son on the back wall. It's on our computer monitors that we have there because we want that image to be in their mind, fathers and son, and the work that was done on the cross.
So I'm sitting here with Pat and BJ from Heroes Camp, and thank you guys so much for for everything that you guys do.
You're welcome.
I love this place. I've been here now like 3 or 4 times, and every time I'm here, I leave feeling really great about what you guys are doing. Maybe tell a little bit about just like your heart for starting this place.
Saw something that was going south faster than other people recognized. Nothing that any human instrumentation could evolve without divine ability added to it. And I had an encounter with Christ in October 17th, 1981. And when I mean an encounter, like Moses in the burning bush and Paul seeing light and heard a voice, it was something that knocked me off my high horse and enabled me to recognize that there was something more that God wanted out of me than basketball or something that would come from my education, but it had to come through my life and come through my marriage.
So this has been a long time in coming because of his love for music. And after giving his life to the Lord, it never has stopped. We had one supporter from California encouraged us with a donation of $100,000 toward the studio. And we said, this is a sign that God wants to help us get there. And we don't want to take anything for granted. God did this. He did it. Pat had enough faith to believe that God wanted us to have our own music so it could influence these young boys to get away from the dirty, nasty rapper, all that kind of stuff. But somewhere along in your spirit, it gets built up to hear young boys have an opportunity to be on the mic, and they know they're going to say the right thing.
The other thing that's really cool about this space is you got a Dolby Atmos surround sound system. Like you've got the Focal speakers, you've got a 7.1.4 system in here. So you got the 3 speakers up front, you got side surrounds, rear surrounds, and then the 4 height channels that are around the perimeter. Had you heard Atmos before, like this studio was done?
Never heard it before. I mean, this is the magic seat right here. If you sit right here, I mean, you got 13 different speakers firing at you from different angles. Dolby Atmos is just this is a game changer.
Oh yeah. Oh, I bet like the kids probably light up when they hear those mixes. So
yes,
very, very cool. And then, I know that Sweetwater Integration did a lot of work with selecting the gear in this place to make it something that's accessible for the kids and things they can learn on. It's educational for them to be able to work through this, but really nice pieces of gear without going overboard. Man, I'm so excited today to be able to sit down with my good friend, Mark Salamone with Sweetwater Integration. So Mark, I know that early on, you're the one who brought me into this project and our firm. I think for both of us, it was just a special thing to be involved with.
Yeah, I mean, the music business could be chaotic sometimes. And this is void of chaos because of what they're doing here. It's really beautiful, taking fatherless kids and teaching them how to be sort of whole and fathers themselves. So it definitely pulled on my heartstrings as well. This whole project has been blessed from the beginning for me. And for Sweetwater to be part of something like this has been really cool.
And you were instrumental as far as just helping with your whole team, like helping with the gear selection in here. And obviously we lean on you guys heavily for that side of things. But maybe talk a little bit about what your decision-making process was in selecting the gear for here.
Okay, of course budget's always a concern, right? So you got to start with that and then you got to build a system around it. And I know like the modern approach, it wouldn't have been appropriate to put like a big desk in here, I don't think. So something like an S.O.U.N.D that is like in the box but has faders, right, that you can control Pro Tools with, I thought was appropriate. And I did speak with some of the engineers that they have here, to figure out what kind of equipment they would feel comfortable. But mixing in the box for a studio like this, I think is perfect. And especially having tactile surface like an Avid S1 and just having faders to work with where you could reach and do things and having a center section. So that was one of the things. But then where does the sound come from? Like you don't want just this pure digital sound coming in. So we gave them a nice selection of preamps. So some of the Neves or SSL EQs, like the EEQs that used to be on the old G Plus consoles, like that's over there, and some really nice compression, things like that. So we made some good choices on like a nice little rack of preamps and compression that they can integrate and get that older kind of sound through the digital applications. So I think we did a nice job and kept it in budget and made it really nice and clear. And then of course Pro Tools and all the right plugins.
I think it's a perfect studio for kids to learn in. I mean, it's more than perfect for these kids, as I mean, there's a lot of professional level musicians that don't have access to something like this. And so I bet that's a joy for them.
Oh yeah, they come in here, you don't know which buttons have ever been pressed. So when you come in here, you might have to reset some things. But no, the iPads make it easy because they're already learning from iPads from like the day they're born, and so they can integrate that easily. Like a lot of this technology just comes natural to them, but then you got some of the older school modules here that you actually have to push with your hands, like physical
some analog
which makes it nice so they can get like both worlds and introduction to it all, and they can be well-rounded in the industry just from like a young age, just coming right in and like, okay, I've seen that before, I know what that does.
And it's not just music, but they could do music for video games or scores for film. Like they could do
Yeah.
anything in this space.
I heard the music game industry is big for Dolby now too.
It
like
is.
with like, I don't know, Halo and the different games, like they said, like helicopters flying over your head and all that sound. So I imagine we would have a lot of kids interested in the gaming side of it too.
So, just talking about the speaker, of course we run a DART, right? That DART, you and I, or Sweetwater Integration and Haverstick has to talk about that DART, and then we have to figure out, we have to model the room, and then the speaker selection comes in.
Yeah.
So there's certain decibels that it needs to reach.
That's right.
For the length of the room.
Yeah.
So there's, it's science. This is math we're talking about here.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, those speakers are cool. No, those speakers are appropriate for the size of the room.
Yes.
And meeting those specifications for Atmos.
Yeah.
So we have the bigger speakers up front, the LCR, and then the surrounds, and then the ceiling in this place, but everything is mathematically done in the DART.
Yes.
And it's really, you weigh in on that.
Yeah, we work together on that. Like we're mapping out the speaker locations in AutoCAD and SketchUp and like making sure that they're in the right positioning based on Dolby's requirements. But yeah, it's a back and forth, like making sure that the appropriate speakers are selected to get the right power levels at the mix position. So
And then we have the Avantones, those small little Avantones. We used to call them horror tones, not those speakers, but in the mixing world, we call them horror tones because they're made not to sound super high fidelity, right? There's no tweeter.
Right.
And that, you always get a good mix on your iPad, your cell phone, your TV.
Yeah.
So it's really important to have like another reference point of speakers. So the Avantones are perfect for that.
Obviously, it takes a full team to do something like that. Like I have my whole crew back at the office, and then you have people on your side as well, which was just really, really helpful to know that they are taking care of all those gear details, integration details. And so it was really fun working with all of those guys.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a full design department with several designers, a full CAD department. So, choosing the right designer for the right project is always important.
Yeah.
And the relationship with you and how we work together is always important. But our project manager, Brian Wharton, is exceptional.
Yeah.
The guy is so good at what he does. He's heartfelt. He's actually donated stuff here personally.
Yeah.
He's got a big heart, and he's so knowledgeable. And him and Ahmed and our team, spent 16-hour days trying to get this thing, going. So he always goes the extra mile, him and his staff, Brian Wharton. Mike Peacock over on the Sweetwater side keeps an eye on things to make sure that the designs are appropriate.
Yeah.
So it's great working with Mike. Looking at the darts and things like that, and working with you to make sure it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all the executive staff at Sweetwater cares so much.
Yeah.
So, Jeff Radke and John Giles and all these folks, making sure that, customer satisfaction's through the roof.
Yeah.
But Brian and his team, Jason DeChristopher, was a great designer and has a heart for it, and also had a heart for Heroes Camp.
Yeah.
And did a great job working with the staff here to choose the equipment.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jason and Brian and our staff.
Yeah, really great team.
This is the perfect setup because everything's ready to play. As soon as you sit down, you can hit some keys.
Yep.
And you got live sound right away. And so that's the way I like it. It's just all hooked up right, integrated in there. There's nothing else I have to press but power.
Yeah.
And it's ready to go. And kids will come in here and they'll play a little ditty, or we'll have music already pre-recorded from our sessions, and they'll come and they'll play over the top of it and add a little spice to it.
Nice. That's awesome. How many kids at once are typically in the space?
We have crammed up to like 20 people in here, but I don't recommend that. People think we're crazy. Like, you got white walls, white floors with kids. It's like, how is it? But our kids are like real respectful, and they know how to treat things. And so they're just blessed to have this. So, right now we could fit, I don't know, half a dozen kids in here comfortably to do instruction and learn the trades.
Yeah. Is this something that they're using every day, like they come in?
Every day someone's in here doing something.
Nice.
Yeah.
And one of the big things with the the walls, the double wall system, multiple layers of drywall, all of that, you have to have a good door system as well. So these doors, it's a communicating door system. One swings out, one swings in from ISO store, and it's just really helpful to make sure we keep the integrity of that wall. I know even we also filled in a window that was here because we were worried about sound leaking in from outside, and so we put concrete up over that and just matched the outside of the building, which looks great, by the way. Like you guys.
Yeah, that was wild to see them do that, to think that there used to be a window here and now it's just boom.
Yeah. One of the other things that we did in this room, we didn't want to tie the HVAC in with the rest of the building because that's a potential leak for sound to come in and out. So we just added a mini split system to the front of the wall here and have the unit on the outside. And it's really quiet. You can also turn it off if you're doing sensitive vocals in here. So it's just a good way to condition the room.
Everything was planned to the T. Like you couldn't, I don't know. You're smart. to figure all this stuff out and to see it all to come together. The people that came in here and put all the wiring to make sure that everything's connected. I mean, this even goes to our system out in the gym, so all our live recordings are directly in here. Like the way the engineers all work together to make this come, I'm like,
yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that when we got started on this project, there was contractors involved, and I mean, it takes a team to do something like this. Like we can draw it on AutoCAD and do SketchUp renderings and show you how pretty the room's going to be, but someone actually has to swing a hammer or use a drill gun in here. So is there anybody in particular that you'd like to call out that helped with the project?
The demo process was the funnest part, and so my kids were in here swinging hammers and tearing down the walls, and we had a Heroes camper come in and just demo everything down. So that was fun. But then we had other companies that came and partnered and donated materials. Jim Ulrey was one of those people that came in, his contracting business, All Pro, Allegro, those people, Haverstick Designs with the design of the whole studio. So we had a host of people that came together to make this project happen.
It just turned out beautiful. You guys have amazing space here, and these kids are going to be blessed for it. So
yes,
I think so. And they're so inspired. You were asking PJ kind of at the beginning about some of the inspiration, and really the kids are the inspiration. They're so talented, and they have so much just undiscovered potential and raw talent. And to see that come forward, and to see the confidence come in their eyes, and to see and honestly, to hear their own lyrics. I mean, they're songwriters themselves so early at 10 and 11 years old, and to hear their lyrics is deeply moving. And so this is a win, not just for us. This isn't a win for a program. This feels like a family win. And I'm excited to see, when people grow up and play professional, we knew them before when they were still learning to dribble and they still had raw talent. So it's awesome to see. I wonder what this kid's going to grow up and do with this and how they're going to impact and shape their peer group and their generation. And prayerfully, it's to give God glory, and it's making a positive impact in the world, because music is so healing. So hopefully there'll be a lot of healing music that flows out of here that will affect their generation.
Well, thank you guys so much for having us again. Like, I will be back for sure because I can't get enough of this place. But thanks for the heart that you have for these kids, and just for believing in us to help with this project.
It's amazing to have you come alongside and join us and really bless the community with this project. So thanks for being here too.
Appreciate you guys.
Very grateful. Thank you.